It's been quite some time since you all left to follow your own disparate threads. Some looking for answers, some for purpose, some out of fear. Blood is spilt in the North Ward. Deep in the woods, people swear they hear screams. As the morning sun breaks through, a figure emerges from a cave. It's that cat. Hey there, guys! Welcome to another campaign diary for our Dungeons and Dragons game for the Troll Skull Club hashtag. This game was our first session back together. We've been running some one-on-one games to cover the downtime periods, the month-long downtime period in game. So I ran a couple of one-on-one games that I've talked about in previous videos to kind of figure out what each individual player was doing and what they wanted to accomplish. This was the first game that they all came back together. And it's funny that the cat ruined my intro because my players, it's just funny. I love giving them shit about it because we were all just really excited and really amped up and had a lot of energy. And so trying to do this intro, this very setting the stage and setting a mood, just wasn't working. We were all just having too good a time, which is understandable. I could barely get through it myself, so it's funny. I love giving them shit about it because they feel bad, but it's all good. So the players kind of each individually start showing up to the Troll Skull Tavern. First, we see Bryn or Harvey, and then we see Bryn, and then we see Sundry, and then it finally ends with Quick. Who has been on a journey with Vincent Trench, who's a Rakshasa private investigator, trying to find her family that they've been gone for about 5 years. And in her one-on-one game, she found out some information and actually saw her wife deep in these tunnels underneath this forest, which, let's see how that goes, but it did not go very well. Her wife had magical abilities that she had never seen before, and also seemed to maybe have a touch of madness, is quite unsure, but she was running away. While the players kind of start catching up a little bit what they've been doing, and then finally Quick bursts in and begins to try to explain what's going on, what she's been up to, and why she's just so flustered and kind of out of breath and, just emotional because she, just found her wife disappeared for 5 years, who ran away from her again. But before she can explain this situation, the dwarven chef that had been working at the tavern for quite a while decided to attack and throw a couple of daggers at Vincent Trench. And then two of the patrons who were in the tavern, also, almost as if they were waiting for the dwarf to act, attacked Vincent Trench. And that's when the dwarf revealed himself to be Vasir, who is a changeling assassin that the party had previously met and upset. Vasir has a kind of vengeance quest against Vincent Trench. All that the party really understands is that at some point Vasir and Vincent Trench, Rakshasa, Vasir and his party somehow got into an altercation with Trench, and Trench killed his entire party, his old party. So Vasir is on a vengeance quest. And so we get into initiative, which was, there was a spellcaster, a deep gnome wizard, there was a warforged barbarian of the Storm Herald, and Vasir, the changeling assassin. The combat looked a little bit dire. Vincent Trench actually went down for a little bit and looked like he was actually about to die because all of the enemy party all had a surprise round on him, and they all were just prepared. And this party was meant to take out a Rakshasa. But, however, Vincent Trench's friends, Quick and Harvey, and the Troll Skull Club all kind of gathered together, and they were able to kill Vasir, destroy the Warforged. However, the Deep Gnome Wizard cast invisibility on himself and ran away, so they were not able to defeat him. After that, there was they kind of healed back up Vincent Trench, and were able to actually get down to the brass tacks of what had been going on. Quick explained that she was, Vincent Trench had a lead about possibly where her family could have gone. They left, and they, were traveling underground and found her wife, who had these magical powers that she didn't, 5 years ago, her wife didn't know any magic, and now she's been gone for 5 years. She doesn't know where her kids are, and her wife has magic powers, and she dimension doored away and ran away. So Quick came back into town to get supplies and to go back out there because she was running out of. They ran out. They only planned for about a month's worth of travel, so they had to go back into town to Waterdeep to restock. And so Quick basically throws out the suggestion, hey, are you guys coming with me or not? Because I'm doing this no matter what. And of course, the party decides to go with her, because why not? So the rest of the session was really just my daughter. She's having a really good time in there. D&D is really funny. But yeah, so the rest of the session is really just shopping and laughing, and not that much laughing. Harvey trying to convince Quick to laugh, but lots of shopping and also trying to convince different NPCs and stuff to maybe go with them. To little to no effect. Harvey is trying to convince the goblin that he's kind of been like hanging out with and kind of seeing, who works for this gang, this group called the Monster Children in the Dock Ward. But it turns out the Tabaxi leader of this group had already sent Red, who is the goblin, on a separate mission already, so she's already gone and out of town. Quick is able to convince Rainier Neverember, who has been living at the tavern, working as a bartender, basically running the tavern, to come with them. So he also decides that he's going to journey with them. And so it was basically ended the day, and next session they're going to be heading out, traveling towards the Misty Forest to find the cavernous tunnel network, and possibly see where that leads, where that thread follows. I was really excited about this session because it was our first session back. Not all the players could make it though, sadly, which at the last second. So I didn't really have too much else planned, so I kind of had to roll with what I had. So it was a little sad not being able to get that full, hey, everyone's back together. But I also didn't want to give my players that much of a break. Not a break, but I didn't want to allow my players to have that. At least not at first. I had planned this combat encounter of these 3 members of what I dubbed in my notes the Rakshasa Revenge Squad, because I knew I kind of wanted to throw them off kilter, because I knew they expected, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to all talk about what's going on, it's going to be a lot of role playing, and so I wanted there to be this combat encounter kind of instantly that really kind of threw them off base and kind of took them for surprise. And I also enjoyed because I did have Visir, who is this changeling assassin that they pissed off. He's been working at their tavern for basically ever since they had the falling out with him. He used his divergent persona as a cook to get in, and he's basically just been getting information, getting intel, and waiting for Vincent Trench to return. He's also been getting together this group of people that he thinks that would be able to, if they have the surprise and they have the advantage, be able to take out this Rakshasa. And honestly, I was not, the initiative order did not help the party, because all of the party rolled really low, while the Rakshasa Revenge Squad all rolled. So it was basically top half bad guy, and then all of our party members. So they were able to just get hits in and get hits in onto Vincent Trench. And they also had readied actions and a slow spell, and Visir's an assassin, so he, on a surprise hit, gets a critical. So there were a lot of things that weren't working in the party's favor. and that led to Vincent Trinch going down. And I had said that Vincent Trinch would roll death saving throws, just because one of my players, Cameron, was running Vincent Trinch. So that's something I'm gonna think about for when we do have NPC characters being run by players. Do they get death saving throws or not? I'm sure there are rules specifically, but I'll just figure out how I exactly want to run that, especially since Rainier Neverember is going to be following them. But I created my own character sheet for Rainier because there's one he just uses swashbuckler stats in the Dragon Heist guide, and I really wanted to kind of change him up and actually mold him more into the Rainier that they've been dealing with, because my version of Rainier is very much a little different than the Adventures version of Rainier. So I wanted to, give a little bit of flavor to our boy Rainier Neverember, which that was the interesting part about this session. Really was, I knew that Quick was going to explain to the characters that she went on this quest to try and find her missing family, that she found her wife in these tunnels, and that she was going back. They all need to go back with her. This was basically, I knew, we were going to be going to an Underdark adventure. I was not sure what they would do in the meantime. Would they go immediately on the road? Would they travel? Would they try to rest up? What would they try to accomplish? And so there was a shopping episode, basically. Not too crazy, just like supplies and basic adventuring gear and stuff like that. But then there was the, trying to convince people to come with them, which was the interesting thing for me, because I very much had to dissociate me as a DM and what made sense for the characters. Because at first it's brought up Rainier is in the room and he's like, oh, I've got to stay and someone's got to watch the tavern, watch to make sure this place is okay. And they're like, okay, whatever, that's fine. And later on, they go to visit Maceris and the Monster Children, trying to find Red, and they, and I'm just like, oh, she's already gone. She's, been back for a couple hours, and Maceris sent her on another mission, which was also, still plausible. Still, I believe that Maceris always has things going on, and Red is like one of his go-to people, and so he'd have something ready for her to go and ready for her to do when she came into town. But when Quick talked to Rainier a second time near the end of the session, she was talking to Rainier and just like, I really think you should come. Like, I really think you should show up. And I started thinking about it actually, and I separated all right, how many players or NPCs or whatever does John want to deal with, from okay, what would Rainier actually think, and factoring in the fact that these people basically helped recover his name. They helped fix his status within the city. They basically turned everyone from we hate Rainier to like we love this guy. He became the city's favorite son because they helped Rainier recover the gold and return it to the city. And so they kind of did a lot for this guy. They gave him a job at the bar. They've let him run it, which is kind of a dream of his, to be able to run his own tavern. And so factoring in all of those things and the relationship he's built with Quick and with the party, I couldn't think of any plausible explanation for why he wouldn't show up. If Quick said, hey, my family might be deep underground in the Underdark, will you come help me? I couldn't think of a valid reason for him to be like, I gotta work at the bar, so it just didn't make sense to me. I did have Lauren, who plays Quick, roll a persuasion check. She rolled high anyway, but the DC wasn't. I really was just having her roll just to have her roll, because at that point I decided, I was like, Rainier's gonna come. It doesn't make sense for him not to show up. So it was that weird, like, I had to stop for a second and be like, okay, stop thinking about this as John doesn't want extra work, which sounds really bad, but was honestly what I think at the point what I was thinking about, of just, like, oh, I have to plan for another NPC for someone to come with them. And after I kind of took that away, I was just like, okay, think about the story, and it just made sense for Rainier to show up. So I'm very excited. We're gonna get to do some traveling. during the one-on-one sessions, I fast-tracked the travel because I only had a little bit amount of time, and I wanted to make sure that the characters we all got the role play and do the things that they wanted to do. But since we're just back to regular sessions, it's 2 weeks of travel to get to where they want to go. So it's going to be interesting what encounters they might see on the road, them just being able to talk and role play and hang out. I'm very excited because we're going into a cool Underdark adventure, and it's going to get them out of the city of Waterdeep, which will be very exciting to see what changes happen in the city while they're in the Underdark looking for Quick's family. And also the fact that they are leaving the tavern in the care of Volothamp Gedarm. That's going to be really fun to see what happens to their tavern in the time that they're gone. Because all I know is they're going to be gone for a while. They're going to be gone for probably months, traveling, going into the Underdark, trying to find out where Quick's wife is, where Quick's kids are, trying to figure out the whole shebang. The Underdark is fun. The Underdark's a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to get started and get into this. Because it's just different, and we did City Intrigue, and now we get to do kind of classic Dungeons and Dragons stuff. We get Duergar and Illithid and Drow, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a fun time. I did also but the characters were reminded that Maceris offered to give the party Goggles of Night, which is a wondrous item that allows the characters who don't have dark vision to have dark vision up to 60 feet. Which is good that they remembered that, because Harvey, Cameron's character, the Aarakocra Rogue, does not have dark vision. And the tunnels that Quick was traveling down have no natural light whatsoever. So that would have been interesting. They got him Goggles of Night, so it won't be as bad. But it'll also be fun throwing an Aarakocra down into the tunnels where he can't fly around all the time. That'll be very interesting. And also, something I forgot to mention though, during, because Harvey made a deal with Asmodeus to deliver 100 souls to him in exchange for saving the lives of the Twin Castellanter children. In over a month, he has not been able to kill a single creature. And so his kind of tattoo that he has, his devil's mark that shows the number 100, like a counter basically on his skin, has started to kind of like singe and boil and just itch, and that's been really fun playing with that, because Harvey's just not lucky with rolls, and he has not gotten a killing blow on one single creature. And when you make a deal with a devil, and you tell them you're going to deliver 100 souls to them, they're kind of expecting them quickly. So it's going to be fun to see how his mark continues, and to see how much longer Asmodeus is going to be willing to wait for these souls to be delivered. So there's a lot of fun threads and a lot of interesting developments to be happening. We get to have some fun travel this week, a travel session where the characters get to roleplay a lot, and maybe I'll finally get to throw my 5 bugbears that I keep on mentioning at them. I don't know. It's going to be a good time. Either way, thank you for listening. If you want to check down below, if you like the D&D stuff, Twitters, we talk about it. And I have a Ko-fi account where I post my writings, and I post like my D&D notes sometimes. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Either way, I'll see you later. Bye.